Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
When I was holding my hand up like this, not like this, I'm not at a rock concert. We would do that. I was going like this, and suddenly, and then you did it, and Reverend Cantor was doing it.
And it was catching on.
Yeah, and some of the RE teachers were doing it. And then the room kind of got quiet. That was odd.
Yeah. Well, it's called Quiet Coyote.
Quiet Coyote?
Yeah, Quiet Coyote. We use it often in our children's classrooms and youth groups. I know that's where I've seen it used. But, one person holds up Quiet Coyote, and it's amazing the power that one person can have to gradually quiet the room.
Yeah, gosh, it almost worked when we did it.
Almost.
So, we actually have a story today for all ages about how one person, the way that they act in a room, can change everything. When they called me, I was working on the boat 300 miles from that hospital room. Barnacles and more barnacles and nets to mend and polishing. I hate polishing. I was deep in the meditation of that work. One swipe of the stainless steel scrubber after another, the sound of it like waves coming in slowly. 1, 2, 3. I count until I get to 10, then I start over again. 1, 2, 3. The barnacles fall off in a satisfying way. I try and think only about this next step, knowing that there's more work ahead. Then the phone rang. It jerked me out of my meditation. Someone on the other line said, "It's your mother. She has maybe a few days left. We don't know what to do." I could hear the panic in my uncle's voice and my sisters in the background making plans. So I drove quietly south to the city. The road got more and more crowded until I was stopped completely. Too many people, too much commotion. I found my way to the hospital, up to the room, and there was my mother, shrunken with age and her breathing shallow. As I walked in, the family was scurrying around like they were in a panic over something. They didn't even see me. Then my sister stopped and embraced me and went back to whatever it was she was doing. I sat down. 1, 2, 3, counting my breaths, matching them with my mother's. The uncles and aunts were coming in and going out like they were boarding subway trains. I couldn't imagine what they were doing. But my only focus was my mother's breath. 1, 2, 3. I felt the ground, the chair, the crisp sheet under one hand, her cool skin in my other. And then something happened. The room quieted down. The family stopped coming and going. They sat down as if they were joining us in our meditation. 1, 2, 3. My uncles and aunts and sister gathered around my mother and took her hand or touched her feet, and we were quiet. It could have been a minute or an hour. But my mother opened her eyes and she smiled at all of us like she knew the calm meant something. We looked at one another. 1, 2, 3. And we embraced each other as if for the first time. And somehow the love increased and the busyness went away. My boat could wait. The nets and the polishing could wait. This was sacred time. It was like that until my mother died. The hospital room like a chapel, sacred and holy, where prayers were said and soft music played and my mother rested in it all. 1, 2, 3.
That's a powerful story.
So it sounds like the person in that story did a little bit of like what we were doing
Yep.
with the quiet coyote.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference that one person could have on a whole room just with how they show up and how they're present.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're in your class and your teacher is trying to get a whole bunch of kids to settle down, or maybe you're at family dinner. Sometimes it starts with one person. So when you go to your classroom today, or when you're with your brothers or sisters or at school, if you think about how you walk into the room, it could affect every other person. You could be the person that starts that peace in the room. And so to our students and teachers, we'll invite you to try that today in your classrooms as you go to religious education. And if the rest of you will join us in singing the children and teachers out, the song "Go Now in Peace" is on the back cover of your hymnal.